All right, today we're jumping into a battle that honestly, you might not even know about, but it was huge. We're talking about a moment where the entire fate of Europe was literally hanging by a thread, and it all came down to one single, epic, thunderous charge. So let me just ask you this right out of the gate. What do you think was the single largest cavalry charge in all of history? Well, it happened on September 12th, 1683. And this wasn't just about winning a single battle. No, this charge, it completely changed the course of European history forever. So yeah, this is the story of Europe's decisive battle. It's a story about how the future of an entire continent was decided, right at the gates of one city, Vienna. To really get what's going on here, you have to think of this as a turning point. I mean, for 300 years, the Ottoman Empire had been pushing further and further into Europe. The Battle of Vienna? This wasn't just another skirmish. This was the moment that incredible expansion was stopped, cold, and for good. You see, for the Ottoman Empire, Vienna was the ultimate prize. They even called it the Kingdom of Vienna. And capturing it? Oh, it was about so much more than just taking a city. It was about controlling the Danube River, owning the most important trade routes, and basically kicking open a door right into the heart of Germany. Okay, so let's look at who's actually in this fight. It's a tale of two massive coalitions. In one corner, you've got the vast Ottoman Empire and all its allies, led by the Grand Vizier Kara Mustafa Pasha. And in the other corner, a kind of hastily thrown together Christian alliance called the Holy League. We're talking the Holy Roman Empire, the Habsburgs, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, all rallied under the Polish king, John III Sobieski. And just look at the numbers here. It's just staggering. The Ottomans roll up with this massive force, maybe as many as 170,000 men. And who's defending Vienna? 11,000 soldiers. That's it. Plus a handful of volunteers. I mean, they were totally outnumbered and outgunned. The situation? It looked absolutely hopeless. And so began the siege. For 2 long, brutal months, from July all the way to September, Vienna was trapped. It was just a total nightmare of desperation, starvation, disease, and the constant grinding fear that the walls would come crashing down at any moment. And the pressure just never let up. It just got worse and worse. The siege kicks off in mid-July. Fast forward to early September, and the Ottoman sappers, these are their expert military engineers, are literally blowing huge holes in the city's outer defenses. Then, on September 8th, a disaster. They capture the Burg Gravelin. That's a key defensive structure right outside the main wall. You can just feel it, right? The city is crumbling. Siege warfare back then was just a grim, grinding, awful business. The Viennese were knocking down their own houses just to get a clear shot. The Ottomans were digging miles of trenches to creep closer. And underground, it was this deadly cat-and-mouse game. The Ottomans dug tunnels to plant mines under the walls, and the defenders dug counter-tunnels to try and find and disarm them. On top of all that, food ran out. People were so exhausted that any soldier caught sleeping on watch was ordered to be shot. It was that desperate. So by the time we get to the second week of September, the city is just on the absolute brink. The defenders are completely exhausted, the walls are breached. It really seemed like it was just a matter of hours. Vienna was about to fall. But just when all hope seemed completely lost, that multinational Christian relief army, the Holy League, was marching to the rescue. And then they saw it, a signal from the hills. The exhausted defenders looked up to the Kahlenberg Heights overlooking the city, and they saw bonfires. The relief army was here. They had arrived. Can you even imagine the feeling, the hope that must have just surged through that city after months of hell? And that sets the stage for the main event, the final climactic battle on September 12th, 1683. The battle that would be decided by, you guessed it, the largest cavalry charge in history. All right, so the battle itself raged all day long. It started at dawn with the Ottomans attacking first, trying to catch the Holy League off guard while they were still getting into position. The fighting was absolutely brutal all morning. By late afternoon, the Polish infantry manages to capture a key village, and that's the trigger. The stage is set. The Ottoman army is now totally stuck, exhausted, caught between the city's defenders on one side and this fresh relief army right at their back. And so, around 6 p.m., the king gives the order. 18,000 horsemen. All at once, thundering down the hillsides in one single massive coordinated attack. And leading the whole thing, King John III Sobieski himself, right at the front with 3,000 of his elite Polish winged hussars. I mean, these guys were the special forces of their day, and they just slammed into the tired, disorganized Ottoman lines, shattering them completely. It was absolutely unstoppable. Believe it or not, the battle was over less than 3 hours after that charge began. It was that decisive. But the aftermath, the legacy of that moment, that would go on to reshape the map of Europe for centuries. King Sobieski, in a letter he wrote to the Pope right after the battle, tweaked Julius Caesar's famous line. He wrote, "Venimus, vidimus, Deus vicit." We came, we saw, God conquered. And when we say it was decisive, the numbers don't lie. Just look at the casualties. The Ottoman forces suffered absolutely staggering losses through the siege and the battle. The Holy League, their losses were, by comparison, pretty light. It was, without a doubt, a total victory. So, what did this all mean in the long run? Well, the consequences were huge. First, this battle marked the historic end of Ottoman expansion into Europe. Full stop. It also kicked off a 16-year conflict called the Great Turkish War, which ended up pushing the Ottomans completely out of Hungary, and it cemented the Habsburg monarchy as the dominant power in Central Europe. Oh, and the Ottoman commander, Kara Mustafa Pasha, he paid the ultimate price for his failure. He was executed in Belgrade. And what's really fascinating is how the battle's legacy echoes even into our own time. Because of calendar differences back then, the date of the final charge actually fell on September 11th, and some sources have cited this historical anniversary as a possible symbolic reason for the date chosen for the 2001 terrorist attacks. Which really leaves us with one final, pretty mind-blowing question to think about. What if it had gone the other way? If that massive cavalry charge had failed, how different do you think our world would look today?